Hello people, Watchman blows the horn here. Hope you guys are well. Hope you are hanging in there. It won't be long now. It won't be long. However, there are interesting times ahead. Anyway, there's a lot I have to share, so I need to get on with it. So, the world is about to change. COVID-19, that was just the beginning. Heading into the fall of this year, 2020, the world is going to change fundamentally. So, but if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. Ezekiel 33:6. So I have to warn, because I see a sword coming. When I say to the wicked, you wicked person, you will surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade them from their ways, that wicked person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. But if you do warn the wicked person to turn from their ways, and they do not do so, they will die for their sin, though you yourself will be saved. Ezekiel 33. Verse 8 and 9. So I have to send out this warning. Okay. So, let's begin by kind of identifying like the Jubilee cycles. The number 7 is the key. So you have the First Zionist Congress, 1897. You have the Balfour Declaration, 1917. You have the United Nations partitioning plan of the land of Palestine, creating the nation of Israel, 1947. You have the Six-Day War, unifying Jerusalem, 1967. And then you have the Trump Declaration in 2017. None of it was coincidence. As you can see, the 7s. Okay? So, 2017, right, marks the arrival of the first Revelation 12 sign. Okay? But the sign actually began in November 2016. Okay? The sign took a year. Jupiter went into the womb of Virgo and did retrograde motion for about 9 months and then popped out. Okay, so it started November 17th 2016 and came to a head September 23rd 2017. Okay, incidentally, this captured the period of Donald Trump winning the elections and being inaugurated as the U.S. 45th U.S. president. Okay, so the Revelation 12 sign was an indication as to when the rider on the white horse, Donald Trump, would be inaugurated. I've been trying to tell people for 2 years that Donald Trump is the rider on the white horse. I hope this video will convince you. So the rider on the white horse, okay, is wearing a Stephanos and he's holding a bow. So he's wearing a Stephanos crown, a victor's crown, okay, and he's holding a bow. Now the law first mentioned in the Bible, okay. Usually when the word is used first, that's what it means at later points in the Bible. So the word bow was first used in Genesis 9 verse 13. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. Genesis 9 verse 13. Okay? And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Okay, now the crown that was given to him is a Stephanos crown, the victor's crown, the wreath or garland which was given as a prize to victors in public games, that which is an ornament and honor to one. This is in contrast to a diadem, okay, signifying kingly authority. So the crown that's given to the rider on the white horse is a victor's crown. So he was involved in some kind of race. Okay, election, winning of the election, yeah, and then he's crowned as president. Okay. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow. Okay. Now the Greek word here is toxon, a bow. Okay, and according to based on the law first mentions, the first place we find this word used was in Genesis chapter 9 verse 13. I do set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. So the bow represents a covenant, especially because there are no arrows mentioned. Okay, so you have this rider on the white horse who comes and wins a race and is crowned victor, and he has with him a bow, a covenant. Okay, sound familiar? Okay, so what's Donald Trump bringing with him now? A covenant, the Abrahamic Accords. Okay. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So that passage right there is telling you, First Thessalonians of that verse, or First Thessalonians 5 verse 3, is telling you that they will be saying peace and safety, right, during the time of travail. Now the time of travail is the time of birth pangs, before the birth. Okay, so it's telling you that this peace and safety they'll be saying during the time of the birth pangs leading up to the birth. Okay, so the rider on the white horse with his Abrahamic accord. Now, notice how you have the flag of the United Arab Emirates, and it has the red and the green and the white and the black, which basically represent the four riders of the apocalypse, the four horsemen. Okay, now remember that the red horse comes after the white horse. Okay. Now, if Donald Trump is the rider on the white horse, and he's coming with this Abraham Accords, which is basically what brings war and total chaos, because it is when they say peace and safety that sudden destruction shall come upon them. Now, if you look carefully at the coin, you have a sword, okay, and I presume this is a verse from the Quran, and it says, if one inclines towards peace, it inclines towards you. Okay, so they're talking about peace, and yet there's a sword. Okay, isn't that a bit of a contradiction? Okay, and who's signing this? Donald Trump, the rider on the white horse. Okay, and the next horse is red. And what's going to be given to the red horse? A sword. You can't make it up. You just can't make it up. Okay, so this agreement will bring war. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Yeah? Notice on the sword, you've got digital things going on. You've got the ones and zeros. You've got, satellite communication. You've got launching of the space shuttle, Babylon. Though Babylon mount up to the heavens, she'll be brought down. Notice the dove with the olive branch. Remember Trump holding the dove? Yeah. And you've got a vaccine. I don't know if you can see. You've got a syringe and a vaccine right there. Okay. I think you've got the emblem of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So that tells you that Saudi Arabia is very influential with regards to this agreement. Okay. So, of course, Revelation 6 and Matthew 24 are pretty much parallel passages. Okay? Speaking of the same thing. So notice the flags of most of the Islamic countries around Israel. They've all got one thing in common. They're all Islamic. And they've all got the red, the black, the white, and the green. Is this an indication that the red horse, the black horse, and the green horse will pretty much be riding out of that region and then spreading to the rest of the world? So, Israel surrounded by a sea of red, white, black, and green. The red horse, the black horse, the green horse, Chloris, and the white horse. Now, this covenant that Donald Trump is bringing forward is the one that will be later confirmed by the Antichrist, the king of the abyss, the king of death. Yeah. He will confirm a covenant with many. A covenant with death. So as you can see, as I said, Revelation 6 and Matthew 24 are parallel. Okay? Starts with the rider on the white horse. Revelation 6 was seen from the heavenly perspective by John, and Matthew 24 was being told when Jesus was on earth from the earthly perspective. So, this is the timeline. The Revelation 12 sign, as you can see at the top left-hand corner, indicates when the rider on the white horse came on the scene, 2016/2017. Now the next horse to ride is the red horse, which will ride after this Abrahamic Accord has been signed. Okay? After it's signed, Yom Kippur, judgment will be passed, and I suspect that judgment will be harsh. And I think the judgment will start first from the economy. I think the economy will continue to titter and totally just head southwards. And then later on in the year, I believe that the world will go to war. And I think that war will start when Babylon falls. Okay? And then of course that's going to make the famine that we already see worse, the black horse. And of course it's going to cause more deaths, the pale horse. And then after that you're going to have intensive Christian persecution. Yeah? which is the 5th seal. And then just before the 6th seal, you're going to have the rapture and the redemption of the 144,000 first fruit warriors of the time of Jacob's trouble. That is when they're actually redeemed from the dead, because right now they are dead. They are the dry bones spoken of by Ezekiel, because the 144,000 are the 144,000 children who were murdered when Messiah was born, when Herod wanted to kill Messiah, and he had all the male children from the age of 2 and under killed. They're the 144,000. But we'll do that study another time. People might not believe me, but I'll do that study, and then you'll see. Yeah, they're the ones who were redeemed, brought back to life to become the army that'll come back and fight with Christ against the enemies of Israel. And then, of course, you have the 6th seal. And then, of course, the 7th seal is open, and then you have the silence in heaven, which is when the temple will be built. And then you have the time of Jacob's trouble, when Jacob will sign the Abrahamic Accords that we see now with the Antichrist. You see, that's another reason why we know that the rider on the white horse has to be on the scene before the rapture. Now, we know that we have to be raptured out before the Antichrist comes. Okay? Now, if we're still here and we can see the covenant with many being established, it means the person who brings the covenant with many must already be on the scene before we are raptured. And that's the case. That's the rider on the white horse. He's holding a bow, which is a covenant. Okay? That's how we know that the next thing that's about to happen is war. Okay? Because that's the word of God. And of course, the time of Jacob's trouble, at the beginning is when the 2 witnesses are commissioned to prophesy 1,260 days, and they prophesy until halfway through the time of Jacob's trouble, when the Antichrist kills them, and then the Antichrist goes into the temple, declares himself as God. Jerusalem is surrounded. A third of the people are rescued, and they flee to Bozrah. Okay, and of course, at the end, Christ comes back and vanquishes the Antichrist, false prophet, and the dragon. So, the fact that we see the covenant with many being established is evidence that the rider on the white horse, or that first of all, that the seals have been opened, because it's the rider on the white horse who brings the covenant. And then the Antichrist confirms the covenant. Okay? So, Trump is undoubtedly the rider on the white horse. So the next thing that happens after this is Israel is attacked. Israel's about to be attacked. A nation has invaded my land, a mighty army without number. It has the teeth of a lion and fangs of a lioness. Joel 1 verse 6. So what should we expect after this agreement is signed? Well, I think moving forward after the agreement is signed, I see problems with the economy getting much worse, the global economy, and I see war. Okay? 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So Psalm 120, which is the equivalent of the year 2020, according to J.R. Church, and I think his analysis was correct. And of course, Pastor Sandy Armstrong teaches us this as well. And I find it to ring true. So Psalm 120 speaks of war. They want war. 2020 will bring war. I think that at some point Damascus will be ruined. Behold, Damascus is about to be removed from being a city and will become a fallen ruin. Isaiah 17 verse 1. And I think when Damascus is destroyed, it won't make Gog of Magog happy at all. And I think that's what will lead to the build-up of the war of Gog and Magog. So I think Damascus will either be obliterated sometime at the end of this year or early next year. Okay? Leading into March of next year, when Gog will gather his armies. The war that's about to take place is also referred to by the Muslims as the Malhama al-Kubra, al-Malhama al-Kubra, because the Muslims will declare jihad once Babylon falls. The earth won't be a pretty place. It is during this time that Christians will be handed over and many of them slaughtered. Yeah. War. So I believe this is when Isaiah 21 will manifest. It will manifest in this year. Okay. The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land, Iran. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, that's Donald Trump. And the spoiler spoileth, that's Donald Trump. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the signs thereof have I made to cease. So, the Lord is telling Iran to attack. Okay? So this treacherous dealer and this deal, this Abraham Accord, is referred to as a treacherous deal. And after this treacherous deal, at some point Elam is going to attack Israel. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. Therefore are my loins filled with pain, pangs have taken hold upon me, that's Israel, as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it, I was dismayed at the seeing of it. Israel will be terrified at the actions of Iran. My heart panted, fearfulness affrighted me, the night of my pleasure, annexation, or the Abraham Accords, the peace with many, hath he turned into fear unto me. Prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink, arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently, with much heed. So, Elam is going to attack. And he cried, A lion, my lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, there cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. So, at this time is when Babylon will fall. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you. The burden of Dumah he calleth to me out of Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night. If you will inquire ye, return, come. The burden upon Arabia, in the forest of Arabia shall ye lodge, O ye travelling companies of Didonites, or Didonaim. These are all places in Saudi Arabia. The inhabitants of the land of Tamar brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled. For they fled from the sword, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. So, it looks like Iran is going to be attacking Saudi Arabia. And inhabitants of Kedar will flee towards Seir and Tamar. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fall. So Saudi Arabia, God is saying, Saudi Arabia is about to be decimated. And the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished, for the Lord God of Israel hath spoken it. And this is the year when Israel will cry out. In Psalm 120, in my distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips, and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given unto thee, or what shall be done unto thee, thou false tongue? So 2020, Israel is asking the Lord to deliver them from the lying tongue. COVID-19 pandemic. And from war, sharp arrows of the mighty, with coals of juniper. Woe is me that I sojourn in Meshech, that I dwell in the tents of Kedar. So Saudi Arabia, okay, being attacked. My soul hath long dwelt with him that hateth peace. I am for peace, which is the reason why Israel is signing this accord in ignorance, because those they're signing the accord with don't want peace. They want the death of Israel. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. So, at the fall of Babylon, USA, the children of Israel will flee. Real mass aliyah will start in earnest. So deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. So, the treacherous dealer who wants to spoil Israel, divide Jerusalem. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. So because of what Babylon USA is doing with regards to the peace deal in Israel, they will be punished by the Lord. World War III. America, Babylon will be destroyed. Deliver thyself. Revelation 18 will be made manifest. The mother of exiles has to be destroyed in order for the exiles to return. So Ephraim has mixed himself among the peoples. Ephraim is a cake unturned. Aliens have devoured his strength, but he does not know it. Yes, grey hairs, are here and there on him, yet he does not know it. Hosea 7:8-9. So Babylon USA is old. She's rusty, and yet she doesn't know. She thinks she's the same woman of old. But no, Babylon is about to fall. And with the fall of Babylon, the greater exodus, the move from Babylon back to Zion. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for times and half a time, from the face of the serpent. So, from the time Babylon falls, the Aliyah will increase greatly, and the woman will be taken to the wilderness, Israel. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that's the land of Israel, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So that's the first initial 3.5 years. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. This is God talking to Babylon now. Babylon will be a spoil to their servants. Isn't that interesting? Remember what happened with the Egyptians of old? The Israelites, the Hebrews, plundered them before they left Egypt. It looks like that's what's about to happen to Babylon USA. The uprisings. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. So you see, the Lord is going to shake his hand at the people. You know why? Remember that Jerusalem is etched in the palms of his hands. So he's saying to them, you don't touch Jerusalem. You don't touch Jerusalem. You touch Jerusalem, and I will touch you. This is what will cause the fall of Babylon USA. And the Lord shall inherit Judah, his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. So this is all signifying the fact that the Lord is turning back. Remember that the fullness of the Gentiles must come. When the fullness of the Gentiles come in, then the Lord shall turn back to the Jews and open their eyes. For blindness in part has come to the Jews until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. Yeah, we've entered the season of the fullness of the Gentiles. And then the Lord will choose Jerusalem again. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hand. Your walls are ever before me. That's God with Jerusalem. So, Babylon USA is about to fall. And with it, the launch of the Malhama al-Kubra. And then, of course, the economic situation will get worse. Inflation will spike. And then death. Lots and lots of death. And following behind death will be Hades, the custodian of souls. And all of this is because the phoenix is rising. You see, the phoenix cannot rise without chaos. And that's why they want to set the whole world on fire in the name of peace. All thanks to the rider on the white horse, Donald Trump. And then, of course, it all culminates with the 5th seal, with the martyrdom of many Christians. And of course, as I said, in the year 2020, Israel will cry out to the Lord in her distress, and the Lord will hear in the year 2021. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Psalm of Ascent. The rapture rescue will take place on the day of Ascension, Yom HaAliyah, 23rd of March 2021. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day. What does that sound like to you? And shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts has sent me unto thee. What does that sound like to you? Many nations shall be joined to me, or to the Lord, in that day. The same day, the 144,000 are redeemed. The same day, many nations are joined to the Lord. Yom HaAliyah, the day the man-child and the elect bride are birthed into the heavenly Mount Zion, into Eden, the garden of God. And as they get to the throne, Satan will be there to accuse Yeshua. After the snatching away, Satan is waiting at the throne room to accuse Yeshua and his bride, his elect bride. Zechariah 3 verse 1. Of course, Michael will rebuke Satan and say, Satan, and the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire, caught up out of the fire, natsaled out of the fire, harpazoed out of the fire, raptured out of the fire? Yeshua in the midst of his elect bride. Zechariah 3 verse 6 to 8, Revelation 7 verse 19 to 17. And then we'll all be given palm branches. Yeshua's bride holding palm branches at the coronation. Yes, because on that day, Yom HaAliyah, is the day when Yeshua will be crowned as high priest. Okay, Zechariah 3 verse 4 and verse 6 to 7, and Zechariah 6 verse 11. And of course, crowned as king and judge over God's creation. Zechariah 3 verse 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and Zechariah 6 verse 11. And then of course afterwards Yeshua will crown the overcomers. And then once he's done that, he will turn to his people and say, come my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation is past. Isaiah 26 verse 20. For behold, the Lord comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth will also disclose her blood, and will no more cover her slain. Isaiah 26 verse 21. Of course, at the rebuke of Satan by Michael, war breaks out in heaven. Zechariah 3 verse 2, Jude 1 verse 9, and Revelation 12 7. Of course, this war rages and rages. And then Michael stands up and fights the dragon and his angels, and a place is no longer found for them in the heavens, and they are cast out of heaven. Revelation 12 verse 9 to 10. At the same time as they're being cast out is when the fiery red dragon passes the orbital path of Earth and causes the rain of fire. For the Lord will rise up as at Mount Perazim, he will be angry as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his awesome work, and bring to pass his act, his unusual act. Isaiah 28 verse 21. The act of raining down fire on his enemies. This is when Gog of Magog is destroyed. When the rich, the generals, go under the rocks and say, hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and for the Lamb, for their great day has come. So, the Abraham Accords, a very, very important sign. A very important sign. COVID-19 brought chaos to the world, but a lot more chaos is about to hit the world. So, I'm not fear-mongering. These are things that will take place. I've heard a lot of people say that the raptures might be taking place on the Feast of Trumpets. Wow, I really wish so, because I wish I could just be with the Father right now. I really don't like this world very much. But I know better. I know that the rapture won't happen this Rosh Hashanah. And I know that it won't happen this year at all. And I really pray for God to give us the strength to endure till the day of ascension. Thank you very much for listening. I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. Yeah. Watchman blows the horn. And I'm out.